Okay, kids, this little video is to help you with your homework. If you are a little bit confused as to how to do it, numbers 1 and 2, they want you to describe each expression. If you look at this expression right here, you can see the expression is the difference between n and 4. So you want to think about how to describe this subtraction expression using words and vocabulary from the lesson. If you look at number 2, you can see the expression has two terms. It has one factor is 25, and the other factor is the sum of b plus 4. So maybe that would help you. Just think of this as an expression with two terms and having one factor that is 25 and another factor that is b plus 4. Then 3 and 4, they want you to tell how many terms are in each expression. Well, remember, a term is a part of an expression separated by either addition or subtraction. A term is a part of an expression separated by addition or subtraction. Well, if you look at number 3, you can see that we really only have one term here. Okay, because there's no addition or subtraction. We have coefficients and multiplication, coefficient multiplication, and they're set up as a fraction, so it's division. But you have one term. Okay? Number 4, you can see that we have addition, and then we have two division expressions. Okay? So that will help you understand what the terms are. You have two fractions separated by addition. Alright? Number 5 and 6, they want you to identify the coefficient of the variable, then identify the factors. So a coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable, and factors are two amounts that are multiplied together. Okay? So if you look at 37, you can see that you have 37 times n. Think about what the coefficient is. The coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable. Okay, so the coefficient of the variable. All right, number 6, if you look at this one, you can see that you have a coefficient for sure because you have a multiplication set up here. And then if you have multiplication set up, you can see that you have two factors. Alright, so you have to identify those. Number 7 and 8, okay, and 9 are all related to this table right here. Be careful when you look at the table, and remember that this column is the number of cartridges in a box, and this is the cost per box. Alright, use table 7 and use the table for 7 and 8. Inez is buying office supplies for her company. She buys B boxes of black ink cartridges and C boxes of colored ink cartridges. Write an expression for the total number of ink cartridges Inez buys. Okay, so an expression for the total number of ink cartridges. Well, you have the number of cartridges in a box. We don't know how many boxes they're going to buy, but we do know that there's 8 in a box. Okay? We also know that in the colored cartridges there are 6 in a box. The unknown is we don't know how many will be purchased. So really, we know that they're going to buy an unknown amount here, an unknown amount here, and so you have multiplication working, and then you have to put these two together. So you'd have a separate operation of multiplying, and then add those two amounts together. So think of that as an expression. And this number will be a coefficient, this number will be a coefficient, and you might want to use b as the variable because that would be black cartridges, and C as the variable for this one, C, because it's colored cartridges. Number 8, write an expression for the total cost of the cartridges in as buys. Okay, well, now we're talking about the total cost, so we're talking about this over here. So once again, you're going to have this as the coefficient and a variable, this as a coefficient, and then your variable. Remember, we're going to use B, or it's a good idea to use B for black cartridges. So you're going to buy 130 black cartridges. We don't know how many we're going to buy, so you'll use a variable here. We're going to buy some colored cartridges, C. We know that they cost $115, but we don't know how many we're going to actually purchase. And then we want to know the total cost. The total cost. So once you figure out the coefficient and the factors for this part, and the coefficient and the factors for this part, you then want to add those together. So again, this is going to be another situation where you have a dollar amount in variable plus another dollar amount in variable. And then down below, number 9, they want you to compare the expressions you wrote in 7 and 8, how they are alike, how they are different. Use terminology from this lesson in your explanation. Okay, so then once you get these done, you're going to come back up and you're going to look and see how they are different. One of the things you might want to look at is they are alike because both expressions have 2 terms. Okay, so you're going to write 2 expressions, and both expressions will have 2 terms, something plus something, something plus something. And they are different in the sense that they're going to use different coefficients in each expression. Okay, so they're alike in the sense that they both have 2 terms, they both use the same variables. They're different in the sense that they have different coefficients. Okay, and number 10 we'll let you figure out on your own.